classes we have discussed the first chapter. We have to revise here now of the class 9. So we have to take two basic definitions. Now we have to take the sum derived units. Sum derived units. In the previous lecture we have to tell us about what is the unit that is to be the fundamental units. Now we have to see the some basic units that is to be derived units. The first derived unit we have to discuss here, speed. All of you know what is the speed? What is the basic formula that is to be speed? What is the definition of the speed? Is that speed says that the distance covered in 1 second or unity times. What is the distance that is to be covered in the unity time? That is called the speed. It means, what is the definition here? Speed. The distance covered by unity time. That is called speed. It means speed is equal to distance upon time. That is to be distance divided by time. That is the basic formula. We have to see that. And this is what is the distance? How the distance is to be measured? In which unit the distance is to be measured? That is to be meter. It means meter. Now, what is the time that is to be selected here? That is to be second. And what is the here we see that the two fundamental unities are used. Two fundamental quantities are used here. The first fundamental quantity is meter, and the second fundamental quantity is to be second. Now, what is the meter? How meter is the fundamental quantities and second is the. So this means meter per second is the SI unit, because here we are using two basic units that is to be fundamental in nature, and these two fundamental in nature quantities work together and the new quantities that is to be generated here, and that new generated quantity is to be speed. So now this is the basic units of the speed, that will be meter per second. Then the second we have to see that velocity. Velocity. It means the displacement, the displacement covered in unity time. How much displacement is to be covered in the unity time? That is to be known as velocity. So what is the velocity? That is represented by v, and displacement upon time, x upon t, where x is displacement here, and here x is distance there, upon time. And what is the value of x? What in which quantities the x is to be represented at? The fundamental quantity of the s is to be represented in meter, and time is measured in seconds, and the quantity that is to be measured here, that is to be meter per second. It means velocity has the unit that is to be meter. This is the basic concept. The third and derived physical quantities is that acceleration. What is the term acceleration denoted that? A is equal to changing velocity over time, and velocity change is always written in meter per second, and time measured in the seconds. And what is the unity that is to be represented here? Meter per second square. This is the quantity. Here we see that if any of the quantity that is to be created by using the fundamental quantities, if we are use the fundamental quantities, after that we have to discuss the second quantities, that is known as derived quantities, and these derived quantities is totally depends on the fundamental quantities, and these fundamental quantities is written here because there are 7 fundamental quantities, and every derived quantities which is to be created by the use of simple fundamental quantities. So we have to write these are the basic fundamental quantities, and how the derived quantities to be generated here, we have to accept that, and speed, velocity, acceleration, force, work, these are also all the physical quantities that is to be related to the derived quantities.